Propel Fitness Water. With Gatorade electrolytes, zero sugar, and vitamins, Propel hydrates better than water to help you get the most out of your workout and get back to your best self. What propels you? Propel with Gatorade electrolytes.
AI is moving fast across the enterprise. But without visibility, it's just chaos. Different tools, different models, different teams using AI in completely different ways. ServiceNow turns that chaos into control. With the AI Control Tower, you see all your AI across the business in one place. What it's doing, what it's done, and what it's about to do. So you stay in control. To put AI to work for people, visit servicenow.com.
Pros, find the right flooring for the job in Lowe's newly redesigned flooring showroom. Shop our expanded assortment of trusted brands and get up to 35% off style selections, Stainmaster, and Stainmaster Pet Protect Special Order Carpet. And while you're here, save $100 on a DeWalt 20-volt max 6-amp-hour 2-pack of batteries. Now just $179. Get more of what you need faster and save more where it counts from the ground up. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 8/26 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Coach Unplugged is brought to you by great people over at teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. From the Fifth Quarter Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to Coach Unplugged. Here is your host, Steve Collins.
Hey everybody, happy Friday, episode 571. We're approaching 600 here. Today we're going to talk about halftime and post-game and practice and all those kind of things. But before we do that, I'd like to give a big shout out to our two sponsors. It's Friday. The weekend's coming, so I'm going to keep this short. Go join teachhoops.com. You're silly if you're not. You will love it. The free trial and the cost right now is not going to get any better because of the amount of content and things that we're putting up. Also, go over and give the people at Dr. Dish a call. Go on their website. Tell them you heard from us, that they'll give you $350 off. They'll take your trade in. They'll make it work for you. They'll help you finance it. They will be there for you to hold your hand. And trust me, if you use it this spring and summer, you will see a noticeable difference in your team's ability to score. So go over and check out those great people over at Dr. Dish. All right, let's head off to the podcast. All right, so we're going to get started here. A couple of minutes early, but that's okay. So there's a couple questions, and then if you've got questions, put them over in the chat over on the side, and I will definitely get to them as fast as I can. This is from Janice. She had put it in a little bit earlier, but her question was, and when I'm looking to the side over here, it's because I don't have quite my, move it over a little bit. I don't have quite my setup the way it normally is. My daughter was in doing homework in my office today. So I don't have everything quite set up the way I normally do. But anyway, so the first question was, what do you talk about at halftime and how do you break it? How do you break your halftime up? So how do you tackle a specific halftime? And, we have where I coach, we have 10 minutes at halftime. So the way it works is usually, obviously the buzzer goes. I have an assistant coach who goes and checks the book to make sure that we've got fouls and everything situated correctly at that point. And then I put the team into the locker room and let them have several minutes by themselves before we come in and have our discussion. So what I do is I get the coaches together and we basically talk at that point. And kind of come up with some solutions of the first half. What are we doing well? What are we not doing well? What can our adjustments be for the second half? So adjustments, what can we do? We talk about offensive adjustments. We talk about defensive adjustments. I apologize for talking in the background there. So then I go in and we tend to do our sets. We tend to talk about our offensive sets. We talk about our defensive sets. And I think it's really important at halftime specifically that you need to talk about probably those key 2 or 3 adjustments just before you leave the locker room. Those are really important as far as kind of heading out to the second half. And I usually try to leave 2 or 3 minutes to get them loose, get them moving again after halftime. I think teams come out of halftime a little flat sometimes, especially depending on the first half went. So I like to leave a couple minutes. I like to do those specific things. Hi, Todd. How are you? So you can, I guess, I didn't know on Facebook Live you could also leave comments. But anyway, so we were just talking about halftime, what we do with halftime. It's not nuclear physics as far as how we handle halftime. But again, we check fouls. We check anybody that's going off, anybody that's doing really well the first half. We meet as a staff so we can talk about offense and defensive stuff. We talk about offense and defensive stuff. So we basically come up with a plan as a coaching staff before I go in and talk to them at halftime. I think that's really important. I'd rather have less time in the locker room at halftime and be able to converse about things that we need than me just kind of going right in. And then I usually start with the defensive parts, to be honest with you, and then I talk about the offensive parts. And then any motivational, anything we're not doing, maybe we're not getting the floor, we're not taking charges. And then just before we leave the locker room, I hit them with a couple things. Hey, remember, we got to get back on defense. We got to know where 22 is at all times, whatever. And then after that spurt of me talking for 4 or 5 minutes, because most of it they're going to forget, then I go into I make sure they get out so they have enough time to warm up. So it's not too much. After the game, so Janice also asked about what we do after the game. After the game, it really depends. They don't hear you as well. Do they hear you at halftime? But they definitely don't hear you. First of all, after a tough loss, they don't hear you after a big win. They tend to hear you if it's a game. So if there's something really important for me to say, I don't tend to say it after the game. I will keep it short. And there are exceptions to this, and I've actually broken this exception this year after some wins that I didn't think we played well, and I thought, hey, we got to adjust, and I was right. And we've stumbled a couple of times because of some of the things I said in those. But they don't tend to hear it. If you need to get on kids, if you need to talk about what they did well or what they didn't do well, after the game doesn't tend to be the time to talk to a group. I will grab a specific kid or a specific group of kids. Hey, you did this. You were really rebounding well, and you were doing this exceptionally well. I was so good. I'm so proud of you. But as an entire group, hey, nice win, blah, 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 2 or 3 minutes, and then I try to get out of there. They will hear the words that you have to say better the next day at practice or in your film session or something like that than they will after a big win, after a big loss. I don't know. They're thinking 20 different things. How am I getting home? Is my girlfriend mad at me? Blah, blah, blah. I'm not kidding. It is, it's that kind of stuff that goes through their mind. So if you have any other questions, put them in the comments down below over on the side. And I will definitely get to them. I'm just going through ones that I got people sent me before this Q&A. So we talked about halftime. We talked about after the game. Someone sent me, how do you deal with a player who has a bad attitude, but is one of my better players? That's a tough one. I'm going to tell you that's a difficult one. You can't teach without discipline. Kids want discipline is my theory with that. If they're not doing what you expect them to do, then there has to be a consequence. So it doesn't matter if it's your best player. It doesn't matter if it's number 15 on your bench. Everything's got to be kind of consistent throughout. And if it's not, you're going to lose the control of the ship and bad things are going to happen. So it doesn't matter it does matter they have a bad attitude because, one bad apple can spoil a whole bunch. So you got to get that one on or you got to get rid of that one. And then you can move forward. To be honest with you, I think that's really important. Here's another question. Do you do film review with the team after every game? Do you watch it from start to finish? That's a great question. So we use crossover. We use a lot of film. We have a big game tomorrow, really big game tomorrow. One of the top teams in our state we play tomorrow. And I think we have 9 or 10 games on them. So we do different types of film sessions. So that's a great question for all the coaches out there. So the way film sessions work for us is normally the day after a game, especially if we didn't play well, we will look at our film. And it depends. There'll be times where we sit down and watch the entire film, and we'll break it down and we'll stop it and rewind it. That takes a good 45 minutes to an hour at least to do that. So we'll do that possibly after a game. Sometimes we'll just do clips after a game. We'll show like the 3-minute mark to the 7-minute mark, or we'll show where our press was really good. So that's the first thing with film. It really depends on the opponent and really depends on what we're doing and where we are in the season. So I hope that helps, Todd. And then that's the first thing. So the second thing is we spend a lot of time looking at opponents, because I think coaching is a lot as much of how am I going to adjust, how is player X going to adjust to player Y? How are we going to adjust to what they're doing? I think, especially with junior high, middle school, youth, high school, even in the collegiate level, it's really important to be able to adjust. Okay, so it is really about matchups, and it's really about how are we going to stop player 22? How are we going to stop him or her? What are we going to do that? What adjustments can happen there? So I think those are really important. Again, guys, if you have comments over on the side, anything else you want, please leave it over there. We can definitely ask questions over in the chats. If you're watching Facebook Live, if you're listening to the podcast, because this has probably become one of my podcasts at some point, because I think this is a lot of really good stuff. Or if you're on our live Q&A right now, any of the places, make sure that you go over and leave a comment if you've got a question. I'm just going through questions that people have already sent me. So if I go over here on the side, I can, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the questions that people had pre-sent me. But finishing up with your question, Todd, I think film doesn't lie. I think I said that like 4 times today in practice. Somebody wasn't boxing out. Somebody wasn't rotating correctly. And what did I do? We showed him some film, and it doesn't, you weren't getting there. You weren't rotating the way you needed to rotate. That's a problem. And the film doesn't, look at it. The film doesn't lie. We talked about it in game. We talked about it in practice. You did it in the game. We need to fix this problem. So, and then we like I've told you, I don't know if I told you, Todd, but we use Crossover. So Crossover is, I'm a stats teacher. Crossover is great for analytics. It's great for breakdowns. We can show every one of John's 3-pointers that we're playing, and then how does he deal with those? And then, here's a specific thing. Do you film practice? I don't. I used to film practice. There's a reason the problem is there's only 168 hours in a week, and I don't have time. So a lot of that film initially when I did it sat unwatched, and got watched in like June, which is not of any use to anybody. So there will be times for members of Teach Hoops, I have actually taped my practices and shared it with them. That's something I actually want to do. And for those of you up above that are or that are listening, teachhoops.com is my membership site. It's great. It's a great, Todd can vouch. It's a great community, a lot of resources, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, so what I've thought about doing, and I talked to Dean about this too in the community, that maybe we should get together and tape each other's practices, and then that would be great. If nothing else, for the off season, it's like, ooh, look what Dean does in practice, or look what Harmony does in her practice in California, or look what Todd does, So it'd be, yeah. It is an awesome community. I agree, Todd. But no, that's something I've thought about. The problem is, it's like, okay, so here's the issue with taping practice. College coaches do it. They also have 4 assistants. They also have a video coordinator who's breaking it all down. They also have time to watch it. they don't have other gigs like you and I do, side gigs or side hustles. Like, I'm teaching math all day. I don't have time to sit down and watch my practice. So that's the issue with taping practice, I think. I think it's a good thing to do, but I think it's easier said than done to be able to find time to be able to watch it. Todd, did you get that package I sent? I sent it. It's school mail, so I may want to make sure he gets it. Todd's got a special needs kid on his, he's got Down syndrome, I believe. Anyway, I sent him a package, and I want to make sure he gets it. So if he doesn't get it, you let me know. It is school mail. It went out through the school mail, so it could be 3 weeks from now. Who knows? Do I have a shooting machine? Yes, I have a shooting machine. We're in the process of buying another shooting machine. I use Dr. Dish. I like Dr. Dish better. We're going. Oh, they're going to give it tomorrow on SeniorNet. All right. So Brad, I'm going to get back to your question. Hold on one second. So like I said, I sent this package. I found some stuff for some T-shirt. But anyway, I'm so happy, Todd. That's what I love about our Teach Hoops community. I love that. I love that coaches are talking. Anyway, so I want a picture of him getting that, so I can share it with the boys. I told my team signed our poster and stuff. We do a poster and stuff, and they all signed it and wanted to make sure that he got it and stuff. So I definitely want a picture so I can share it with my guys, and let's hope we play well tomorrow. So going back to you, Brad. I believe in the shooting. So first of all, there's a 15, almost 16-year-old living in my house who has spent a lot of time on the shooting machine. He has spent a lot of time. I've told him he's a great shooter. He's not a scorer yet. The shooting machine is great for repetition. There's a couple guys on my team that just need more reps right now. So the shooting machine is good. Every second I can get him another shot. So from that standpoint, I love the shooting machine. I think it's a great way. We don't have all the managers. We don't have the people rebounding for our kids. Like the opponent we play tomorrow, I think has 4 or 5 shooting machines. It's the haves versus the have-nots, to be honest with you. But anyway, they're great for getting shots up. You have to be creative. Dr. Dish and the gun and all them do really good things with drills and stuff. I know on my Teach Hoops community, I've got some shooting drills with the machine. I want to definitely do more with that. Just because how often do you get your feet squared? You get an open shot, blah, blah, blah. And that's what the shooting machine is good for. I think it's good for that. And I also think it's good for you guys are asking questions too fast here. I got to make sure I read them all. And I also think, what was my train of thought? I'm having a senior moment. It's great for arc too. It's really good for arc. I like that it teaches arc. You can't shoot a flat shot and get on the shooting machine. I would agree. I would agree that the Dr. Dish is the way to go. I don't know. I think the gun is fine. I just think the Dr. Dish has more possibilities for you as far as trying to get shots up, type of shots, locations, those kind of things. So that's why I like it. I'm having really bad glare today. Everyone that's listening right now is going, what is he talking about? It's like, well, I'm multitasking, which is, I guess, what a good coach does. He multitasks. I'm trying to do Facebook Live. I'm trying to do Zoom. I'm trying to tape it all at once. And the Facebook Live literally looks like I haven't seen sun in a really long time. But anyway, we'll move on. You know what? I wish Brad asked if I have any coaching clinics set up. I don't. I'm working with Dean in our Teach Hoops community to try to help me get some of those. I've done them all over the country. I've been on the East Coast. I'd like to go warm, but I've been all over. I haven't done any for a couple reasons. First, I started coaching volleyball because my son started playing volleyball. So I started coaching volleyball, which took the fall away from me a little bit. I'm going to try to do some United basketball clinics maybe this fall. And then it's like I got to find time to kind of try to find the people, say I'm available, so Dean is going to maybe try to help me do that. Hey, Coach, hope you're enjoying the podcast.
A couple things that doesn't cost you a cent to do. You can subscribe and leave a written review. We really like that. You can go over to our YouTube channel. Just type in Teach Hoops on YouTube and you'll find our YouTube channel. Subscribe, there, so you'll always get the updates. Next thing is if you do any shopping on Amazon, go down below, click our Amazon link, www.teachhoops.com/Amazon. Anytime you're doing shopping on Amazon, we get a small little commission. Helps us with our hosting fees. Be surprised how expensive it is to run one of these. And if you really love this stuff, let me help you. Let me mentor you. Let me email. Let me get on one-on-one calls. Let me show you all the resources that will help me become one of the winningest coaches in the state of Wisconsin. That's why I'm doing this. I want to help coaches become better. So teachhoops.com can do that. All right, let's head off to the podcast.
Something for coaches where it's like a retreat. We get away for a weekend. And we can only do so much here via audio. And, if people have X's and O questions, I can definitely do that. I have the capabilities of showing you stuff too. Especially for the people that are on Zoom. I don't know about Facebook Live, but anyway, yeah. So that in my utopian world. Okay. So Cape Car, where is that south of Tampa? So I'm reading Todd's questions here. If it is south of Tampa, then you're in Warm. I'm guessing you're north of Tampa. Other questions? Does anybody have any in the chat or down below? Let me know, and we can definitely ask them. There's one thing someone asked. Let me just pull this up, especially for the people that are on Facebook Live. You're gonna have to be patient. People that are registered on the thing. Someone asked about low screens and how to get kind of open movements. I think it's really big as far as getting open movements when you set the screens to get to this hash. So you really want to make sure that you're posting up and you're setting screens at that hash. So not the block, you move yourself up. And I think this might have been Janice again. I don't know if this was Janice or Mike that asked this question. But anyway, when you set these screens, most people are down here at the block. You got to move up to the first hash, the second hash, and do all of your movements in that area. If you got a really good team, Wesley's always told me that the hidden area is this area right down here behind the backboard where you can kind of get lost, depending on the kind of teams you have. But we try to do a lot of our post movements in this region right in here, which is, again, for those of you that are listening, not from the block, from the first hash to the second hash going toward the free throw line. That's where a lot of good things can happen as far as being able to score, as far as being able to attack, and giving your guards, bigs, whoever's doing it, space. I think that's really important to be able to have space to be able to do that. All right. Let me get out of this. Stop the share. Are there any other questions from people that you want me to go over? Basically do anything. I've gone through all the pre-given list here. If there's anybody over here, can you give the story as to why you don't use the whistle during practices? Yes. Okay. So Brad asked, why don't I use a whistle during practice? Because, all right, so this is a long story. Every coach basically when they start coaching gets a whistle. That's the first thing they get. And I was the same. I had a stopwatch. I had a whistle when I started coaching. I quickly learned that I wanted them to be able to, and if I start moving, it's because I'm reading, and I am in denial about having to have readers at this point. So I'm trying to read this. I'm trying to read that. Anyway, so going back to the whistle thing. So I believe that I want them to hear my voice. What does a whistle mean in a game? A whistle means in a game something's wrong. Okay. Somebody traveled, somebody fouled, somebody did that. Okay. Which is fine. If that's what you want to use the whistle for, I blow the whistle that they need to stop. Great. Use the whistle for that. But what I want them to be able to hear my voice. Okay. They're not going to always be able to do that, especially in a packed gym. Tomorrow we got a big game and place is going to, they're not going to hear someone 2 feet from them. But if there is a voice I want them to hear, it's my voice. So if I'm yelling something out, or we don't have any timeouts left, or we need to be able to execute something, the only voice they need to hear is me and the other 4 guys on the court. So that's why, and it gets them tuned into my voice. I have a deep voice. Excuse me. It's a little deeper than normal because I have a cold. But I want them tuned into my voice, knowing what I'm doing. That's important to me. That's why I don't use the whistle. The whistle's fine. Like I said, I hate to compare them to dogs, but a dog whistle does what? It trains a dog to do specific things. Same thing with a whistle, tells them to stop play, blah, blah, blah. So if you're using the whistle to stop play or move, okay. I have better ways to transition from drill to drill than necessarily a whistle. So what I want to do is I want them to be tuned into my voice. And Brad, that's the reason I don't use a whistle. It's probably the reason when I'm 75, I won't have a voice. But I have found it to be very successful, not using the whistle. So I had here's another question. Oops, from Whitney. I have a hard time getting my players to transition from their long day at school to getting ready to work hard in practice. What drills do you use to the energy flow early on? All right. So Whitney, that's a great question. So I have changed on this. I used to come in and spend a lot of time early trying to get them moving. So what I do is I give them about 10, 15 minutes of individual workout time at the beginning of practice. I have found that to be good. Like I have my bigs working with an assistant coach. I have the guys that need to get on the machine doing that. I have someone. So it lets them kind of get dressed, get out of the locker room, get into what they need to get into. And then we transition. So then I cue them back, going back to what Brad said. Don't put any more questions up because I'm not reading fast enough. So then I transition back. So then they have so what happens is they get to see their girlfriend, they get a little snack, they get changed, they come in the gym, and I'm not on them. So they get a little bit of downtime before school, after school, which we all need downtime. I mean, shoot, I take it at lunch and watch Parks and Rec or something. I don't know. I need downtime too. So give them a little downtime. And then in that 15 minutes will not make the difference between you winning and losing the next game. Trust me. And then you cue them back. So then what I do is I gather them back together and I say, all right, here's what we're going to do at practice. And I cue it up. I say, hey, we're going to work on getting trapped. We're going to work on our transition. Time to get to work. We're going to keep this short and sweet. And Whitney, that really helps a lot. It does. It took me 20 years to figure that out. Why aren't they ready to practice? I'm ready. I got my practice plan, blah, blah, blah. Yes, you are. You're the adults. And sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I need a Snickers bar or a soda or something to get going. But they need to be able to leave Studentville, which is different. It is a classroom, but it is different to go to, all right, now we're at Teamville. I think that's really important. But that's a great question. Who do you have lined up for future podcasts, or would you like to line up as who would you like to line up? So who is that, Lance? That's a great question, Lance. I have, the future podcasts, I tend to do my interviewing once the season's over, and then I queue them up for the rest of the year. If you've got any ideas, send me an email. I'm always open. I'm looking for people that are motivational, that love basketball, that are coaches, that are whatever. So it's steve@teachhoops.com, steve@teachhoops.com. So that's a great question, Lance. If there's anybody that you would like me to try to go get, I'm open. The podcast is really kind of taken off, which has excited me. I love doing it. It's basically talking hoops. That's why I decided to do this 3 days ago. It's like, let's do a Q&A. I got a big game tomorrow. Otherwise, I'm going to be sitting in the living room thinking about what I should have done at practice rather than what I did do at practice. So how do you build trust? Well, this is the issue, and I'm thoroughly convinced about this. You don't build trust with your team from November to March. You build trust with your team from March to November. Okay, it's the whole when are basketball players made, blah, 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 blah. Because I got to be hard. I got to be dad during the season. I got to be the hard guy. I got to be the one that's demanding that they get there in time. I'm the one that's got to say, why aren't you blocking out? Okay, in the off season, it's a totally different ball game.
I can, I can be more, I can be more, I'm not saying friend, but I can be more conducive to discussions. I can find out about their lives. I don't have, to be honest, there's a couple things I literally don't have time during the season. And then, because, I'm worried about the next opponent, where we're doing here, blah, 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 blah. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is, that's when relationships are built. They're going to trust me. They're going to run through a wall for me because they know I love them, but they're going to find that out more in the off season than during the season. And Todd, we can, in the Teach Hoops community or in our Facebook group and stuff, we can definitely talk about that. Put that up. Put that up in our private Facebook group, and I'd love to see what the other coaches in our community say. I would love to see that. My bigs have trouble finishing through contact. Do you have any drills? So Robert asked that question. Robert, do you use the football dummy thing? So they're big pads that basically they use during football. Do you use those? If you don't, you should every day. That's what we do a lot of drill with our bigs using those football dummy things. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I can definitely find one, but to show you at some point. But that's what we do. They're like square, and they're, how they tend to be on those slides, but they have individual ones that you hold. And I'm sure you can buy them at like Dick's and stuff like that. I've just gotten a couple from our football staff, and they're just pound things. And I'm old, I'm 50 plus, and I'll get in there and bang with them because I know I got that pad, and unless I break a hip or something, I'm gonna be okay. But anyway, so yeah, Amazon has those pads. Brad just said Amazon has those pads. Yeah, Amazon would be better than Dick's. Dick's tends to be expensive, my personal opinion. Anyway, I don't own Dick's stock, so I don't really care. But so yes, they're really good. And Brad, I don't know if you can honestly believe. So it's almost 9. Is it 9 something? I haven't even eaten dinner yet. So I practice and run my kids around, blah, blah, blah. So I know we have people on Facebook Live. We have people on our and I'm going to try to send the people that missed it this. But if you have not, I'm going to tell you something. And Todd, who's over here, can tell you the Teach Hoops community is great. We're growing. I'm getting to the point where I'm going to have to hire some help because it's growing so fast and I can't respond and get to people. I want to be able to like help Todd when he sends me an email or Bob or Harmony, whoever sends me an email. I want to be able to respond very quickly. So I have to get rid of some of the other stuff. So prices are going to be going up. It's great. It's a great community. The prices are going to be going up substantially. What's your ideal technique for catching and shoot? Yeah, I like that. He's asking, I've been doing the attack to pass. Yeah, I like that. We'd have to do that on another one, Brad, because there's are you a step shooter? Are you a hop shooter? In which progression do you go? I think it's super important to be able to have the hands up and to be able to be able to catch in that manner. But that would be a great idea for podcasts. Maybe I'll put that for a lesson. But anyway, so Facebook Live people can watch here or just listen for a second, especially the people that are listening here. I'm going to show one thing. So what I was saying before, I don't remember whose I pulled up. I think I pulled up Dean's teachhoops.com thing. But there is so much stuff in this. I'm telling you right now, you will not find a better deal. It's not only the stuff, like the amount of videos we've got on here. I'm doing a bunch of stuff on Read and React because a bunch of our members have been asking about it. So I've been doing a lot with Read and React. We have office hours every month. So I put all the old office hours. You can see all the old office hours are loaded in there. We have plays and drills. We have practice plans. There's practice plans upon practice plans. You cannot, oh my goodness, look at all these practice plans in here. If you're watching this, it's just a great thing. And then the video library alone, it's worth the video. You're going to spend $29, $39 just for one DVD. There's hundreds of hours of video on here, defensive lessons, rebounding, offensive lessons. I can't imagine how long it would take to get through everything. So, and then we have, like I was talking with Todd about, we have this private Facebook group where, the discussions, and that's why I told him, come back over and put your stuff in here, because this is where we talk. This is where you can kind of see that we communicate. We're bouncing ideas off each other. It's a great community. So go over and check it out. It's a 14-day free trial, www.teachhoops.com. I think it's a great deal. It's the way I was trying to reach out to more people. I think at the end of this month, prices are going to increase substantially, 25 to 50%. For a couple reasons. I want to make sure people are really dedicated that are in it. People that are already in it are grandfathered, like Todd never has to worry about his price going up. So if you're thinking about it, I would recommend it. Do it now before later. It's a great gig. All right. Any other questions from any of the other coaches? And again, if you're thinking of joining teachhoops.com, I think you'll love it, but again, I'm biased. So, all right, everybody have a great evening, and thanks for joining me. I'm going to try to send a replay for the people that signed up. I didn't get everybody's email address, but I'm definitely going to try to send a link so you can watch some of this stuff. And Todd can say we do a lot of X's and O's stuff in our office hours, more than this. So have a great evening, everybody, and hopefully stay warm. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Hey, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. Please go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. Like I said, the prices are going to be increasing. I think it will be a great thing for you and your staff. And we're going to, like I said, prices are going to be increasing, so I can hire some people to help me. It's growing, and that's a great thing, because there's a lot of coaches out there helping other coaches. So go over and check it out, www.teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. Have a great week.
Close your eyes, exhale, feel your body relax, and let go of whatever you're carrying today.
Well, I'm letting go of the worry that I wouldn't get my new contacts in time for this class. I got them delivered free from 1-800-CONTACTS. Oh my gosh, they're so fast.
And breathe.
Oh, sorry. I almost couldn't breathe when I saw the discount they gave me on my first order. Oh, sorry. Namaste.
Visit 1-800-CONTACTS.com today to save on your first order.
1-800-CONTACTS.
I'm not giving up. I am selling the building.
The final season of FX's The Bear.
The restaurant is flooded.
Everything's either going to be okay.
No, stop.
Or not.
We are outgunned and we are outmanned, but we have each other.
FX's The Bear, the final season. All episodes now streaming on Disney+.